In the beginning, I battled with the passions of the flesh for 8 years. He's talking about carnal warfare or lust, fornication. He struggled with this passion for 8 years. I didn't sleep on my side. Look at this. I didn't sleep on my side, but I slept standing. I slept standing in a corner or sitting on a stool. Let's read that again. I mean, it's just incredible. This is like part of why I love him so much. Just look at this great, 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 great degree of self-denial. I didn't sleep on my side, but I slept standing in a corner or sitting on a stool. I beat myself 2 or even 3 times a day with his cane, wailing and weeping, so that God would feel sorry for me and take the warfare away. Look at this. This is amazing. This continued until the all compassionate one had mercy on me and took away Satan's rage. And now I am only briefly relating to you my countless sufferings, giving you just a drop out of the entire sea. This is just amazing. I mean, he puts me to shame. I'll tell you, I can't speak for all of you, but for me, I mean, I literally have chills right now and like tears in my eyes. I mean, it's just like the degree of self denial and love that he had for Christ and how seriously he took the salvation of his soul. You know, for me personally, so a little confession here. I, I, I don't come anywhere near this, not even a teeny tiny drop. I'm such a whimsical Christian, really, I am. And it's pathetic. It honestly is. I'm very pathetic when it comes to battling my passions. And here St. Joseph is giving us a beautiful example to imitate, to be inspired by, to spur us on to fighting in such a valiant, staunch, indefatigable manner, you know, and to push the limits of your body to the utmost extreme as a means to mortify and subdue the uprisings of the passions. This is how he's waging warfare against the passions and demons. You know, no pain, no gain, as we like to say on this channel. No pain, no gain. Asceticism is for everyone. Askesis is for everyone. As I said in my sermon today, if you're comfortable, there's a problem. The Christian life is not supposed to be comfortable. You're actually supposed to be uncomfortable because it's through the discomfort that you're growing. Much like when you're going to a gym and you're working out, right? If you don't feel pain when you're working out, you're really not working out and you're not growing muscles and you're not getting stronger and healthier. You have to endure and experience the pain because it's through the pain that you grow. It's through the pain that you're going to get healthier. And it works in the spiritual life the same way. It's through the pain of hunger and thirst and tiredness and exhaustion and, you know, weak knees that feel like they're going to buckle because you do so many prostrations and you're standing in prayer for so many hours. It's that pain that purifies you of your enslavement to the passions. It's that pain that purges the passions out of your heart. No pain, no gain. So he hits himself. He had a cane, and you see many photos and icons where St. Joseph is depicted with a cane. And we're actually going to make an audio recording in the future. I've been collecting excerpts of this, the significance of his cane. And basically, whenever he was tempted with lustful thoughts and feelings, he would he would literally beat his body, his legs, with a cane as a way to neutralize that sinful pleasure, as a way to um, deflect that temptation away from him so that he wouldn't fall into it. And as he says in one of his letters, um, there's a rule in the spiritual life. I'm paraphrasing here what he says. Whatever, how does he say that? Pleasure is cured through pain. So he uses this cane as a way to deflect those temptations, right, to sensual pleasure. And that's also why he did such strict askesis, other forms of strict askesis, like thousands of prostrations and fasting rigorously, barely eating or drinking, and standing up in prayer for, you know, 8, 10, 12 hours straight. One time he remained standing for over a week without sitting or laying down or anything. I mean, it's just incredible. So continuing here, the third paragraph of this letter, he says, every night every night for 8 whole years, legions of demons furiously tortured me with clubs, axes, and anything else destructive. So we heard in our live stream, they would literally physically attack him. Like they would pull on his beard and his hair. They would punch him. They would kick him. They tried to literally kill him. They hated him because of how much he was resisting their temptations, and they could never conquer him. One would grab me by my then small beard. Oh, here it is. Another by my hair, my feet, my hands, with every kind of evil and torture. They would all shout, strangle him, kill him. And only by calling out, Panagia, help me, would they disappear and their strength would disperse. Finally, the Lord had mercy on me and brought me out of the depth and pit of suffering. So, as his biography talks about, uh, St. Joseph learned through experience that the most effective thing in conquering the passions and demons was by calling on the name of Christ and Panagia, and specifically the Jesus prayer, and also the Jesus prayer being Lord Jesus Christ have mercy on me, which we're supposed to say all day long, and the other prayer to the Panagia that's famous that we can also say, not just the Jesus prayer, but the prayer to the Panagia. Most Holy Theotokos, save us. You can repeat that prayer throughout the day. It doesn't just have to be the Jesus prayer. You can alternate back and forth. You can say, Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me 20 times. Then you switch to Panagia. Most Holy Theotokos, save us. Most Holy Theotokos, save us. Most Holy Theotokos, save us. 20 times or 30 times, whatever it is. And it's always nice to alternate. Sometimes the soul gravitates towards one prayer over the other, and seems to connect with some prayers better than others, and sometimes prefers to use different languages even from time to time. It's just there's all sorts of variations and fluctuations that the soul goes through. And as St. Paisios says, we should give what our soul needs or what our soul wants. Does your soul have a craving to do a paraklesis? Go do a paraklesis. Does your soul want to just do some prostrations and say the Jesus prayer? Then then do that. You know, you don't necessarily have to, be a stickler and read from the prayer book, every single time. If your soul is having a desire to pray a specific prayer, it's fine. Give it what it wants. Don't stifle your soul. God forbid. Um, but you'll find that through your own personal experience. So here St. Joseph says that when he was calling on the Lord and on the saints, that's what really helped him, conquer the demons, was by calling on their name, on their help. And that's what we should be doing in our moments of temptation, calling upon the Lord for help, you know and continues, and now, my little girl, I may be a fool to tell you these things, unable to resist the love that I have for the salvation of you all. But since I think it will be of benefit, I said to myself, I will continue telling these things to you. So now I have grown old as if I were 100 years of age, due to all the sufferings and many changes I went through since my youth, when I was in my prime. Isn't it incredible? When you look at photos of St. Joseph, he looks like an old man, doesn't he? But he was actually pretty young. He was actually pretty young when he died. So he was born in 1897, and he died in 1959. So he was only like 64, right? Yeah, he's only like 64. I mean, and he died, and he suffered many illnesses and many physical afflictions. Unbelievable. He had so many physical illnesses because of all the extreme asceticism that he was doing, um, that you would have thought that he was a very old man, and he looks like a very old man. But He wasn't. I mean, he was only 64. And the reason why he looked so old and why he suffered so many physical illnesses unnaturally was because of this strict asceticism he was doing, you know. But as he himself says, in order for the passions, in order for your soul to be delivered from the passions, the flesh must rot. In other words, it takes a great level of self denial to overcome the passions, to be freed of your passions. And that's exactly what happened to Saint Joseph. That's what Saint Paul talks about in his letters. He says, though the flesh, though our outer man, the flesh, is perishing, the inner man, the soul, is being renewed day by day. In other words, we undergo these physical sufferings through asceticism like fasting and hunger and thirst and sleep deprivation and sleeping on the ground and standing for hours on end and doing hundreds of prostrations and all the rest. And yeah, our body suffers the effects of that, but simultaneously, our soul is being purified and sanctified. There's an eternal impact ultimately. And as St. Paul says, the sufferings of this present age are nothing compared to the glory that awaits us in the next life. And that's exactly the mentality St. Joseph had. That's why he didn't mind suffering physically through the asceticism, because he knew that it was going to benefit his soul eternally. And that's exactly what happened. He became a saint. And that's the kind of mentality and spirit that we should all have.